We're live. We're live. We're live. Good morning. Good morning. What's your response ability?
Good morning, Jackie.
Responsibility.
We all have responsibilities, and you have them too. And I was having a conversation and thinking about this song. Yes, life comes for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And life, your happiness or sadness in your life has much more to do with how you take it
And
versus what it actually is.
absolutely.
Your response to it. Your response to it. That when the adversity comes, when the good news comes, how you respond is everything.
It affects every part of it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to dig it in just right back in a moment.
Good morning. My name is Brian McNeill.
And I am Lisa Santiago McNeill.
And thank you for joining us on our show, Let's Talk About It. We come to each Monday through Friday right here on the SIBN network, on iHeartRadio, YouTube, TuneIn, as well as Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Like.
Good morning again. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining this morning. We're talking about your response ability.
It's your bread and butter.
It's yours.
Okay.
We're talking about your response ability. So this is a little bit different, a little bit of a play on words to your responsibility, but it's your ability to respond to what life throws your way. Two people can have the same circumstance brought their way, but they can still respond completely differently to it.
Your ability to respond is the part I want to talk about. You can respond to any negative situation positively or negatively. You can respond to any neutral situation positively. Is that Sister Jacqueline that I saw sweep through? Dare I say, I think I just saw out the corner of my eye the image of Sister Jacqueline.
We'll see.
Look at some. Am I cooking?
So your responsibility, your ability to respond is what a lot of us have learned over time is different than your ability to react. Many of us have reactions that we don't necessarily consider, but your response is what you can consider and manage. And a lot of time we spend through our lives
that's the thing you have the most control over,
rather than responding.
Think about it in medical terms. A doctor will say the patient is responding to the treatment.
Hey, Jacqueline.
The patient is responding to the treatment, but if the doctor says the patient has had a reaction to the treatment, which one is good?
Which one is good?
Having a reaction to treatment is bad. Their body is reacting to it, is not accepting it, is not working. That's a reaction to treatment. Whereas your body's responding to treatment, that's good.
You want a response, particularly you want a controlled response, a duplicable response in many cases to the situations that come into your life. How do you handle news? Notice I said news. I didn't say good news or bad news. How do you handle news? Because you can affect the outcome of the news by the way that you respond to it, as opposed to reacting to it.
Good morning, Mr. William Brown. He says, happy today,
Happy today, William.
And Sister Jacqueline says, yes, I am here again with an exclamation point. Morning, morning, morning.
Whoa.
I'll fix it.
Is out of balance?
Yep.
My washing machine just tripped on us. Now, Brian gets to go respond to it. What I did was react to it. And I'm still here because my reaction did not necessarily spawn any action, but his response allowed him to get up and to realign the way that the clothes are in the washing machine to get a desired response from the washer. That's right. His response was, I'll fix it. My response was, whoa, what's that? Although I knew what it was, but I couldn't handle it. So what is going on in your life that you have possibly been reacting to that now you're like, you know what? I am choosing to respond versus react. Responding versus reacting. I think it makes a lot of impact on the outcome. Don't you?
It does. And it's also very encouraging because you do have the ability to choose your response.
Good morning, Dr. Beverly. Thank you for joining us this morning. Today will be my last day this week from this position. I will be with you guys.
Remote.
This
is leaving me tomorrow.
I'll be with you guys from Florida, and I am looking forward to seeing my mom and having the show with you and with my husband, but from 2 different locations.
So we'll be split screening it.
We're going to be split screening it. Yes. And I'll be producing it from there.
What time your flight leave tomorrow?
I don't know.
Because you may do the show tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. I may do it from the airport.
I'll do the show. You go ahead and travel. Once we get you there, I'll do the show.
Jacqueline says, Lisa, going to check to see about your focus herbs today. A lot of products have been back ordered. The company moved from California to Texas.
Well, that'll do it.
I'm looking forward to it. Dr. Deborah says, good morning to you, Dr. Deborah.
Now,
Dr. Beverly is here also. She says,
good morning, great people. Hope you are still in awesome status. Amazing Grace is my song of praising today. Praise today. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That's mine. I once was Ghanaian. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. You got to flip that. Because when I said have some, you were supposed to say, oh, no, honey, I don't want any of that. Y'all know the story about Amazing Grace, the song Francis Scott Key. At one time, he was a worker on slave ships. And then he had at least the legend is, he had a religious experience and realized, I have been wrong all these years. That's the legend. And out of that guilt and shame for those years he worked on slave ships, and he was wrong all this time, out of that guilt and shame is when he penned the tome Amazing Grace.
good morning again, Shaki.
Because he felt he needed Amazing Grace.
Mm-hmm. Well, my response this morning was to get up and walk. 6:30 when my eyes open, I went down, got the first leg of my walk done because the last couple of days we've been traveling and I have not utilized the opportunity to get my walks in from where I was. My original reaction was, meh, I'm not going to do this. But then I decided to respond differently to my frustration at not getting the steps in that I was getting, deciding to get some steps in.
Amen. Dr. Deborah, she says, I'm outside walking right now. And I wanted to say this too, Dr. Deborah. Lisa and I were hosting a nonprofit summit this past Saturday morning. William Brown came with us. The people there, Dr. Deborah, were all kinds of your people. They were your people. Dr. Deborah would have been in her glory, surrounded by all these nonprofit professionals that were smiling, that were helpful and supportive of each other. You would have loved the scene, Dr. Deborah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how are you choosing to respond to situations that are occurring in your life right now versus reacting to what they're doing? Oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't.
Which is exactly what I was thinking. Very often, the way a patient receives a negative diagnosis has a lot to do with how well they cure
or handle it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If they receive a negative diagnosis like, oh my God, the world's over, that's going to adversely affect whether the treatments work. It's going to adversely affect the way they handle their treatments, the way they feel during the day-to-day. Dr. Sister Jacqueline says, I was just about to ask, what are you guys nibbling on? Looks yummy. And it was yummy. It was delicious. It was actually, what do you call that? What kind of cheese is that? That's pepper jack cheese infused bratwurst, pepper jack cheese, and I had toast. That's all that was. Dr. Deborah says, definitely sounds like my kind of people. Yeah, it was your scene. And there's several of those people, even though you're not here right now, I think we should introduce you to. Definitely Susan Woods and her community, because that seems like it's a really good community for you. What we met. The ability to respond. And another cool thing about this word today, breaking down the word is responsibility, and we broke it down to respond-ability. We all have the abilities to respond. To me, I just see so much hope and encouragement knowing that we have the abilities. But I want to bring up that thing that's in your head right now, that's in your world right now. You could respond to it differently than you've been reacting to it. You know, that coworker that's loud all the time. Okay, every day it irritates you. Or you could choose to, it's what it is. I don't have to become emotionally invested in that.
Yeah, that is one thing that definitely can impact your day-to-day.
That nonsensical Facebook post. You could just go past it. You don't have to respond to it.
Yep, exactly. I actually completely backed away from Facebook completely for a time because I had to because I chose to reset my opinion about it. It had gotten me, some things happened that frustrated me that I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this as an opportunity for a clean slate. And that has been the steps towards my response versus my reaction.
Yeah, and I'm liking the more clear discussing of responding versus reacting, actually. You know, your responsibility. You know, and most people, when you think of your responsibility, you think of stuff you got to take care of, your household, your family, you know, your job, your vehicles, the things that you possess that you're supposed to take responsibility for. Your health. How much of your health are you responsible for? A lot.
Well, in some cases, the reaction to reality actually helps you to create the response that you want to make.
Yes, it is. You got an example want to bring out right now?
Well, yeah, sometimes news that is reality checking, if you will cause you to have that oh crap, that oh my goodness, I got to do something different, and it will impact you in such a way that you got to get serious about it.
Yeah, you know, it used to be a thing called Scared Straight. Okay, where they would take troubled teenagers and expose them to a day meeting prisoners in the penitentiary. And the ideal of it was that it would scare these kids into acting right. Let them know what is going to scare them. They was hoping the kids would see this situation and realize, oh my God, no way I want to be here with those crazy guys. I'm going to start walking in the straight and narrow. Was it effective? I'm not so sure. But that was the plan anyway.
Shaki says, I like the challenge. I like to challenge things to get reactions from me. I dig into why I feel a way, why I'm acting like that. And then it becomes self-discovery. Absolutely. Particularly for me, particularly with interactions with people, I often will evaluate, why did that affect me that way so much in this kind of way?
Why am I
that
so
kind of
angry
way?
about that? You know?
Right. Or so angry. That's one. There's a lot behind anger. Also, afraid can be another feeling. So intimidated, that's another feeling.
Mhm.
And I often will evaluate them back to what my coach would say. When is the first time you felt like that?
Ooh, I really like William Brown's thought there. He says, question, do you see reacting as an action without your intention or automatic, and the response is an action with intention, or you make a choice to do something? I like that question so much. I like that thought so much because
Good morning, Miss Phyllis.
most of the reaction does not need a lot of thought or help. It's just automatic or knee jerk.
Yeah, a reaction in and of itself is without intention or without contemplation.
Like you just said,
This
why was I
happened and that
fearful of
happened.
that? And why was I feeling this way about that? Because it was an
That's
immediate.
a stop. No, why
Yeah.
was I fearful at? Why was my immediate reaction, if that's what you're asking, this, or this? When I took
Right.
that moment to stop it and evaluate it, my response is now intentional versus knee jerk.
So if that's true, and what William thought is supposing there, we can take control over how we respond to situations, whatever they are.
Even when your reaction is out of character or not what you would want to represent.
You know, what's that lady song? Is that all there is to a fire? Is that all there is to a fire? She tells a story in this song about her family escaping their house being burned down to the ground.
Mm.
And outside watching their house being burned to the ground, mom is healthy, dad's healthy, the three children all are healthy now. They got blankets on them, but everything that really matters was outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their stuff burnt up.
Dr. Deborah says, after talking to you, Lisa, I made a choice to stop reacting to my situation.
Wow. And made a decision to respond instead. I really had to think about what my true source is. You know what?
Good morning, Stephanie.
That is an amazing thought. Good morning,
She
Stephanie.
goes on to, Dr. Deborah goes on to say, I was knee jerking all over the place. Jacqueline says, responding with extreme excitement as my daughter-in-law prepares to begin her Just Say It podcast, In the Know with Mo. My podcast was 9 years old, slowly returning to things I was doing before getting COVID. It's been 3 years, thought about letting it go. Once again, you guys have been inspirational. Amen. Stephanie says, I love that I can put my Bitmojis in the comments now. Woohoo! Thank you, Facebook.
She does. I can see her sending hugs.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. You know, I almost let go.
Good morning, Brianna.
I felt like I just couldn't take it anymore. You see, problems had me down.
Turn my world.
But God kept me close.
God
so I wouldn't let go. So I'm here today because God kept me. I'm alive today only because of his grace. God, he kept me. You know the song, right?
So I wouldn't
let go. Good morning to the Briggity Bree. That's my daughter, girl. Bree Hutchinson. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
I so enjoyed seeing you and Summer and Violet yesterday. Stephanie says, I love, oh yeah, we got that already.
I want to go back to William's question.
Okay.
Do you see reacting as an action without your intention or automatic? I actually believe that a reaction is automatic.
That's right. Stephanie Mars says, yes, sing it, Brian, with exclamation points. God kept me, so I wouldn't let go. Come on, these songs have power to them.
Phyllis says, I can't. I can't.
I couldn't resist the platform on Saturday without doing at least one dad joke. I did one dad joke in front of them. And it was like a time bomb. At first, some people got it right away and the rest kind of slowly got it. Dr. Deborah says,
stepdad now tested for COVID. He is quarantined for 10 days, so no visits. And because of our exposure, we are quarantined for 5 days at home. I am not reacting, but I'm responding by using the time to focus on business.
You're going to be home anyway. You got access to your laptop. No one's touching that laptop but you. You know, you can. I saw something the other night. I was watching, oh my gosh, he's Don King. Different. I don't know how I got stuck on this, but I watched all these different biographies and all this different commentary about Don King.
I left you last night.
Yeah.
I mean, for real.
It's okay. It's okay. I was watching all this Don King, and he talked about when he got put in prison for manslaughter and served 5 years. And he says, I used that time to serve me. He got started studying the great minds, Thoreau and Edison and all these great philosophers. He used that time. Malcolm X did 7.5 years in prison, read the dictionary several times, discovered his religion in jail.
Here's the thing. Your reaction can occur at any point, but you still have the opportunity, even after the reaction, to respond.
Yeah.
Your reaction.
Right. Even if you did initially just react crazy.
And if you do, because that is what a reaction is. It's a visceral response to the stimulation or to the situation. But in and of that, you still have time to respond. After the reaction, feel free to respond. You're not bound by the reaction to that being forever. You have to deal with those consequences, of course, but your response is still within your control.
Lisa and I got into a debate the other day in the car. We got into a debate, and I won the debate, obviously, okay. But we were talking about how people show love and how people take the love. And then I gave her the great example.
Foolishness.
It was foolishness?
Yes.
We're talking about how people show love versus how people
foolishness
take the love.
Your foolish example.
I didn't come up with this.
I know, baby, but you adopted it.
Because I think it makes sense.
It's foolish.
Okay, now notice what Lisa said. Foolishness, and all that stuff. And I'm going to give you the example I gave her that helped me to win this argument with my wife.
He won it in his own mind.
I won, okay, because he couldn't combat this.
I didn't need to, because it's foolish.
It's not foolish. You can say foolish 14 more times, but the point is the point.
14?
14, yes. The point is still the point, okay? Now, a person has a right to how they show love, of course.
Right.
But the other one has a right to how they receive it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I got this example from Tony Robbins to give him credit,
right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He says, if the way I show love is to walk up to you and kick you in the face,
yes,
okay, and you go, ow, that hurt, what the hell? I'm just showing you love, okay? This is how I show love. Well, I don't like love like that. Yes, but I'm trying to show you I love you. Yes, but it hurt me, okay? And then how can he just not receive my love? I'm only trying to show love because that person was hurt because he don't receive love like that. Just because that's how you give it, that's not how they receive it, okay? No matter what you think your kick in the face is, you can say it till you're blue in the face. If the other person doesn't receive a blow to the face from your foot as loving, it's not a loving act, okay? So what's so crazy about that, okay? So the point is, the way I show love is this. Okay, I appreciate you show love is that.
Nobody shows love.
That's
when they
not
kick
the
in
way
face.
I receive. That's an extreme example,
A
but it
very
still
extreme
makes
example.
the point.
It does not. It's extreme.
If I show love by walking up to you and licking up the side of your face, okay, and you don't want me to lick on the side of your face, okay, baby, I'm just showing love. Okay. There's this loving dog that my family has in Raleigh called Cheech. The dog's name is Cheech. Cheech is very loving. If you put your hand near Cheech's face, Cheech is gonna lick your hand. Okay. But if you don't want your hand licked by a dog, don't put your hand there, because that's how Cheech shows love. Okay. I got some hearts for that too. One example.
You did not.
I did too.
In your dreams.
I saw too. Brianna gave some hearts to it because it made sense to her.
In your dreams. No hearts for that. No hearts at all.
So what's wrong with the point, baby? The point is still the point. Okay, the point is the way you show love.
No one shows love from a kick in the face.
You're taking it too literal.
Yes.
It's not the point of what the thing is. It's the point of how you give and how the other person receives it. If they don't receive it as a loving act, it's not.
Exactly. Just like that. Okay. So to use a more identifiable example, in this story where the husband had been giving the wife the heel of the bread.
Yes. Let's tell that story first.
Go ahead, please.
Elderly couple. They've been married for a long, long time. And every morning, as has become their custom, they would get up at the kitchen table together, and they would have hot tea and jelly on bread. One particular morning, they had a brand new loaf of bread, and he gets the jelly as their custom. He puts the jelly on the bread, and he gives her a saucer. He takes a saucer. She makes the tea. So he opens up the bread, and the very first piece of the bread, the heel of the bread, he takes that out, puts some jelly on it, puts it on a saucer, and slides it to his wife. And he takes the next piece of bread and gives it to himself. And he looks up, and his wife is crying. He's like, "What's the matter?" He goes, "After 40 years of marriage, you're still so selfish that you give me the worst piece of bread. I've been a good wife to you. Give me the worst piece of bread every day still. You're still willing to do that." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, honey, I'm sorry. I thought you knew. That first slice of bread with all the crust on it, that's my favorite part." All this time, she thought he was being selfish. Mm-hmm. And all this time, he thought he was giving his wife his favorite because he loved her so much. Now, Lisa brought that up as the response and reaction. I always thought the story has more to do with communication and lack thereof. But I see your point, and I actually think I like it, that example.
Better. Brianna says the dog was attacking the poor baby by licking her.
Now, as the mother's perspective, you saw your baby on the ground with the dog happily licking the baby as the dog attacking the baby.
No.
Okay. But the dog saw it as
lovingly licking the baby.
Craig Saab, 1000 degrees.
Good morning, Craig. He says, "Good morning, everyone. Let's have a wonderful, blessed day on purpose and enjoy it to the fullest." Thank you. Thank you. And Craig is right on time for the card of the day, the thought of the day.
Yep.
I've got to shuffle.
Do it one at random. Don't pick it.
Okay.
Like just whatever your hand lights on. That's the card we're gonna go with.
We're gonna go with mud.
Oh, is it mud?
It is mud.
Okay.
It is mud. That was a reaction. Now let's see if there's a different response.
Wait a minute, did you catch all the comments up? Okay, we did. Good.
Mud. That was the reaction.
I did.
Now,
is that what it really says? Mud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The delicate water lily reminds us that much can be accomplished with our feet in the mud and our heads above water. Mud is earth. It can cleanse and nourish. Squish your toes. Turn your face towards the sun.
Now,
mud.
Are they saying that the delicate water lily comes from mud?
Well, the water lily is sitting right above the surface of the water.
Uh-huh.
But the root system is in the mud.
You know, it's the one I don't know about water lilies. I know about lily pads that frogs land on, but I didn't think of them as in mud. That's why that card lost something for me, because I didn't have the same understanding of the delicate lily as the author of that thought did.
Well, you're very welcome. That's
your card, Craig.
You had a reaction and a response.
Yeah, that's the card, Craig. Mud says thank you.
And reactions can often be based upon not enough information.
And reactions often are changed based upon new, like you were just saying. We had the same thought at the same time. Based upon new information.
Our new information.
If I learned this about it,
Right. My very first coach, one of the exercises that we did, I think it was probably in my third class. When I came into the class, he was acting ridiculous, erratic, and irate.
Okay.
Completely. Like he was making noises, he was sticking out his tongue, he was doing all kind of things. Initially, when I came into his office, because my immediate reaction was to sort of chuckle it off, laugh it off, and like,
was anybody else in the office?
No, just he and I.
Okay.
He was reacting, responding, sticking out his tongue, banging on the table. He was just doing everything. And so my initial response was to chuckle and to laugh it off and to sit down and let him regain his composure. And then that was a teaching moment.
Okay.
The teaching moment was, what if that was my true behavior and I was your client? What if those responses were a part of something like Tourette's or some sort of different ability? I was, look, I don't know enough. I'm going to give whatever this is a chance to go through itself and just sit back. But I did chuckle. He taught me in that day that no response is the right response. No response.
As you were telling that story, I was reminded of a very public example of that. Young man jumps up out of his chair crying, I've been doing it for 30 years and they treat me like this for 30 years. And the young lady just sat there with her legs crossed and her hands in her lap going, Robert. And he's going all over and his hands are get close to her face and she stays composed and just says, Robert, would you like to sit down? Would you like some tissue? I don't need no tissue. Rob, that was the only moment of her whole adult career that I've enjoyed. You know what I'm talking about, right? Mm. Gail King with Robert Kelly, R. Kelly.
Oh, you're so silly. You're so silly.
He was flipping out and she was just calm as could be. Robert.
Jacqueline says, what an example about showing love. What kind of example about showing love is that? I agree, Lisa. That story is crazy. If you show me love by causing pain and discomfort, I guarantee you will find another way, because I will kick you back and say, I love you too. Not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying. Exactly. And I'm saying the same thing. Yeah. Because I'm like, well, I love you too. Boom. Yeah. And it's over. But
I think the example is a good one.
No,
and
it's not.
And even more so, I think so, because of the way you guys are responding to it, reacting to it.
Yeah, we're not. We're not like he did.
No one shows love by kicking the other person in the face. Obviously not.
Right.
Okay. However, people can show love in a way that's displeasing to another. Okay. I heard a stand-up comedian the other day. She said she's been proposed to. We got proposed to in a bar in front of all their friends. He got proposed marriage to her. She didn't want to marry him, but she said yes because she didn't want to come across as being any kind of way in front of their friends.
Because there were other people there. Okay. Yes.
But she started to cry as this was going on. And just then the bartender looked over as he stood up in front of her in that moment. And the bartender thought that he had hit her. Mm-hmm. And the bartender like, what did he just do to you? And she said, no, it's okay. He loves me. See how that made you laugh? But that was all a reaction to
all
what the
different
bartender.
kinds of innuendo and misinterpretations
Misinterpretation.
and everything. Here you go, Brian. That's for you. I already know who it is.
Okay, now I do. It's for me.
Yeah,
You
because
sure?
you're not gonna let me read it.
I will let you read
No,
it
I'm
if
not
you do
gonna
it
read
right.
it. No, I'm
You
not.
can read it if you do it right, baby. Brother Mark Greer has came into the room. Kaboom! Mark Greer came in the room. Mark Greer says, if your eyes opened this morning, you were able to get out of bed, stand on your own 2 feet, and are keenly aware the world is a much better place simply because you are in it, you'd better go and tell somebody this is the greatest day of your life. Shout it from the mountaintop. Why? Because it is the next day of your life. If you love life, life will love you back. Read in the stylings of Mr. Mark Greer.
Dr. Deborah is laughing. Now, William Brown goes on to say, the question I have is, are you aware if the ways you are showing love could be causing pain?
Yes. Yes, that's the thing.
You said that's the thing?
Are you aware if the way you show love is causing pain? That's the thing. If you are aware, they may not be aware that the way they're showing love is causing pain. One woman may show love to her family by cooking for them. That's how she shows love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the kids don't like her cooking. Okay. They want hot dogs. Okay. So they might not see that as a loving act.
They'll see it eventually.
Eventually, but right now in that moment.
That's okay.
I like what William Brown is bringing to the table today. Boom, boom. The question is, are you aware if the ways you are showing love could be causing pain? Is there any way that I should express my love to you that's causing you any kind of pain?
Not pain, no.
See?
But I have to say that there was definitely some maturity and learning that had to come from being in a position to receive the kind of love that you give.
Which is meaning you chose to intentionally respond a certain way. Mm-hmm. Dr. Deborah says, got my Mark Greer fix in this morning. See, Mark? Dr. Deborah wanted her, and she got her Mark Greer fix. Because you came this way this morning, Mark. She got her fix. Oh, my Lord. Let me say, the ability to respond versus the ability to react.
I don't know that they're verses.
I think so. Why don't you think they're verses? I think they are.
I think a reaction is a natural inclination.
Yes,
and then response is a chosen decision.
But the reaction is without, we've talked about it several times already, is not indicative of intentional thought. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's opposed to me, or choosing to always have an intentional thought. Something happened, a life situation occurred. Mm-hmm. I can, in my immaturity, I might even go so far as to say, in my immaturity, I'm going to react. But in my maturity, I'm going to choose to look at it and think about what actually happened and respond.
So I think that you may be conflating inward reaction to an outward reaction, or an inward reaction to an expression of that reaction. I think that I react even if I respond. You may not know how I reacted. There are situations where someone may come into my space and they smell offensively, right? So my reaction is, oh my God, this smell is horrible. But you don't see that, and you don't see that, and you don't hear that.
You'll go like this.
Not necessarily. I'm not going to do that. But I still had that reaction.
I got it. But you chose not to show that. I chose
not to respond.
Which is maturity.
With that.
Why did you choose not to respond with that?
Because I thought it through.
Because you're grown up, and you, for example, Stephen Covey tells the story You know, he wrote the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Really, really impactful book. If you haven't read it, you will, and it will impact your life for the rest of your life from the time you read that book. But he tells the story about one day on the subway, on a Sunday morning on the subway in New York. And the subway's kind of quiet. Everything's kind of quiet. No one's bothering anybody else. Not much conversation is going on at all. He's traveling on the subway in New York. And at one particular stop, a man and 3 children get on. And the children like 6, 8, and 10. And they're raucous. And they're jumping up and down on chairs.
Running back and forth in the car.
Running in the car. And the man is sitting there with his head in his hands, not doing anything. And it was upsetting Stephen. And it looked like the kids were upsetting the other passengers too.
It was like, what?
And so finally, Stephen had enough. Okay, he went over to the man and said, "Sir, couldn't you do something to control your children a little bit better?" And the man looked up and says, "Oh, I'm sorry. We just left the hospital, and their mother has just died, and I guess they don't know how to handle it, and neither do I." Now, when he heard that, based upon new information, he no longer was upset with that man or those kids. He wanted to be helpful because he learned another detail that he didn't have.
Exactly.
So now he wanted to respond with, "Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I can entertain the kids or something." He wanted to bring them over and talk to them. He wanted to be helpful. He calls that a paradigm shift.
It is.
Shifting the way you think about a situation.
Absolutely. Dr. Deborah says, question for thought. Should you respond if someone is loving you in a way that you don't prefer?
Great question.
Or should you be grateful that they're showing love at all?
Well, I love the question. Let's see what Mr. William Brown says about that question. I like that. I want to.
Well, Bill has a comment of his own.
So we can and do decide how to respond to our reactions, like the example you gave, Lisa.
Yes, that's what I was elucidating on. I got a word back.
Yes, Amen. I see.
Amen.
Oh, Sister Jacqueline says, "I was raised that it is important to have a hell no person in your life. How does someone go through life causing pain when they show love? Where is their hell no person? Trust me, Brian, they walk among us. Part of that hurt people problem, or as you see, that story got me a little worked up." Yeah.
Yes, me too. I am sorry, I just got a little emotional because since I have been healing, my words haven't been coming as fluently or as fluidly as I would like them to come. And I've often been confined to monosyllabic words or not as colorful words as I would like to utilize. And when that word just came to me in context and appropriately, it came out of my mouth, it kind of gave me a bit of gratefulness.
I knew what that was the moment you did it, Lisa, but I really believe, and I've said this to you before, you not having the verbiage that you used to have, I think was largely in your head because I didn't notice any lack of verbiage. You were able to still talk and you were able to still understand me.
Yeah. But it's different what you can see and what I know.
That's true. We're going to have to finish these comments, so we got to get to our greeting songs. Mark Greer says, "Dr. Deborah, you should be good for the day now." Let me get it right. Dr. Deborah, you should be good for the day now. Since you have gotten your fix this morning, there is nothing this day can throw at you that will deter you, obstruct you, or diminish you. Let that fix energize you, inspire you, and move you to bring forth that magnificent light that emanates from your spirit. Shine on, my friend.
Amen.
It's that time. It's time.
Well, I do want to go back to Dr. Deborah's question.
Okay.
She says, should you respond if someone is loving you in a way that you don't prefer, or should you just be grateful that they're showing you love at all?
I'm gonna answer it, but I want William Brown's opinion on that question too. Dr. Deborah says, I sure will, Mark, with exclamation points. I think you have a responsibility to yourself to let the person that's attempting to show you love know that the way you're showing love is not pleasing to you. Okay, even if it's other things too, the way they touch you or kiss you or cook for you, whatever it is, you have a responsibility for yourself to let them know that that is not pleasing to you. You know.
Jacqueline goes on to say, Lisa, that is why God is telling me to supply you with the focus herbs. Thank you. William says, I believe we give ourselves and others a gift by acknowledging how people are loving us and how that lands for us.
How that love lands for us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And let me tell you, I think that there are many areas that our love is like right on, spot on, exact, right? He gives what I want, I give what he wants, and those things are just exactly matching. But there are some things that are a little bit different.
Which I think you have to have. Okay.
I don't know if you have to have it, but I think it's okay to have it.
Go ahead, baby. Come on.
Because you say it like that. That means more.
I'm saying I got to mess with you, but it's 9:47.
I know.
We got to get through our greeting songs too, so I want you to make your point. Go ahead, baby.
You can't rush my point.
Ah! Come on. Good morning, Miss Pamela Howard. Pamela Howard says, I love this topic, responsibility. Okay. Brianna's laughing at that or loving on that because she sees her dad looking at the clock, looking at his wife. Come on, baby, we got to go. Up front is first person in the room today was, can you go to the top of your list?
Shaki's back.
Okay. Can you go there? Okay. Shaki. Shaki has a jam too, and it goes, guess who's back? Back again. Shaki's back. Tell a friend. Shaki's back. Shaki's back. Shaki's back. Shaki's back. Shaki's back. I've created a monster. Mr. William Brown is in the room. He has a jam too, and it goes, good morning to our friend Bill.
Nobody thinks like him still.
We love him so, and we always will. Our friend Bill. Good morning, Mr. William Brown. Sister Jacqueline has a logo and a song. Her logo goes according to Jacqueline, and her song is Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Rosie, pretty little one that I adore. You're the only one my heart beats for. I'm so glad that you are mine.
Amen, amen. Keep it moving.
Dr. Deborah's in the house.
Dr. Deborah has a song too.
Dr. Deborah, non-profit strategist and funding coach. Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Dr. Beverly.
Dr. Beverly has a logo and it goes, Dr. Beverly is on the show. William Brown says, Brian, you have to clap your hands for emphasis. We heard from Commissioner Mark Jarrell. He gave a wonderful talk this past Saturday, and he meant what he was saying because several times he was like, real talk, you guys have to do it because your heart is that you want to serve the communities in which you live. And, you know, me being the moderator, I had to comment on that.
Miss Phyllis is here.
Miss Phyllis is here. So clear the way. Miss Phyllis is here. Now we can all have a great day. Brianna, you want to end up getting you a song, girl, because you popping in here 2 days in a row. Stephanie Morris is here.
Life has new meaning to me.
There is beauty up above and things we never take notice of. You wake up and Stephanie, you're in love.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Brianna, go ahead and submit us with a song or genre of music that you want your song to come from.
So you don't think her song is You Can't Play With My Break Break?
That was what I did when she was a little baby.
So?
Can't play with my break break. Because it was like from that song from Yo-Yo. Don't try to play me out. Don't try to play me out. You know, that was the jam.
Exactly.
But Brian never even knew who Yo-Yo was.
Craig Sabb.
Craig Sabb. 1,000 degrees, you'll be on your knees, you'll be burning, begging, please. Brother Freeze, come on, Craig Sabb, I love that guy. Mark Greer has a jam as well. It goes, so wide you can't get around it.
So low you can't get under it.
So high you can't get over it. Mark Greer is under a groove. He's getting down just for the funk of it. Mark Greer is under a groove. Nothing can stop us now.
Yes.
And now, just so y'all know, Mark Greer's jam is funky because Mark Greer wanted his jam to be funky. He gave us his genre to find his music. Pamela Howard, you deserve a song. We've been saying that for 6 months. Help us find you a jam, Pamela Howard. Help us. Did we find one for Pamela? It's either Pamela or Howard or Miss Howard or something else you want us to find a jam for you. But let's do that. You can help us do it. Or if you guys can think of a song for Pamela Howard, her business is professional planning and catering and all those kinds of things. Things that have to do with organizing, getting your events together. That's what she does. She helps you have successful events, planning and preparing and executing successful events.
Brittany just showed up.
Brittany has a jam too.
It's Brittany. It's Brittany. It's Brittany.
Brittany Thomas.
It's Brittany. It's Brittany. It's Brittany. Brittany. It's your time. It's your time. Yeah.
I get to break out my Mark Greer one more again. Mark Greer says, Lisa Santiago McNeill. Know who you are. We know what you represent. We know how beautifully special you are. There's a lot of love out there for you. And most importantly, right beside you, we support you. You, my friend, will continue to rise.
Woo-hoo.
Mark, you are bringing it today, man. But then again, doesn't he always?
Thank you so much, Brother Mark. Thank you guys again for joining us today.
Brittany, you're not so late. You know, you don't have to clock in here. Miss Phyllis says, hey, we did do your song, Miss Phyllis. Yes, we did.
Hi.
If you missed it. Morning Motivations with Brittany still goes on.
That's right. And we appreciate those thoughts, those kind thoughts. We love you guys. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for Words on Wednesday. I will probably not be with you, but Brian will be here. And don't forget to have sex.